Колеги, продовжимо наш робочий день. Останні інформації з зони проведення антитерористичної.
The latest information from ATO zone from Colonel Lysenko, the speaker of ATO. And good afternoon, esteemed colleagues. During the last 24 hours, the situation in the zone of ATO continues to be difficult. Russian terrorist groups execute the redislocation of significant forces in the direction of Debaltseve and Vuhlegirsk of Donetsk region, and they are priority directions for the attacks of militants at positions of the ATO forces. The terrorists are applying the tactic of the reconnaissance to detect the firing positions of Ukrainian military with further shellings. In all the directions, the terrorists were using the Grad systems, artillery, mortars, tanks, and were also using the grenade, the different means of destruction. The battles are taking place near Vuhlegirsk. The terrorists, after mass artillery and mortar shellings, were assaulting at the checkpoints of ATO. All the attacks of the militants were repelled, and now there's a counter-battery fighting going on near Vuhlegirsk. During the last 24 hours, we lost 5 of our servicemen, 23 were wounded. According to the operational information, the militants of the LNR band formation started are planning to mandatory use the students in the military actions against ATO forces. According to their plan, the young guys will participate in the armed conflict during 10 days, and they will be doing that in shifts. The Ukrainian law enforcers are successfully detaining the subversive activists of the enemy. In Dnipropetrovsk, the SBU detained the citizens of Makiyivka that became part of police of DNR. The terrorists had the training at the training center, which is in the territory of Donetsk region, and that was under the leadership of the instructors of the Federal Securities Bureau of Russia. After finishing the training course, the subversive activist was sent to one of the regions of Dnipropetrovsk region to collect information for the band formation of DNR on location of Ukrainian positions. Also, Lysychansk militiamen kidnapped and detained the 35-year-old local citizens who from the June till July of 2014 was part of the group of rapid reaction of LNR. The border guards of Berdyansk unit in Chongar detained the citizens of Ukraine who suspected in participation in activity of the illegal armed groups. The person was trying to go to the temporarily occupied territory of Autonomous Republic of Crimea. According to the preliminary information, he was adjusting the fire of the artillery of DNR and LNR. The National Guards in the sector, together with the Ministry of the Interior, servicemen in the Donetsk region are now conducting the preventive measures, detecting the diversive intelligence groups of the enemy, and preventing the acts of terrorism in Gnutova and Talakivka near Mariupol. Thanks to their law enforcers, 15 citizens of Gnutova were detained and they are suspected in cooperation with terrorists. In Zaporizhia, 3 teams of mobilized citizens are sent to the training centers of the armed forces of Ukraine. The total is more than 300 persons who are enrolled according to the mobilization plan. Most of them came as volunteers yesterday from Desnyansky district of Kiev. There was also a group sent to the training center. The enrolled servicemen received the status of servicemen according to the legislation of Ukraine. The mobilized servicemen get all the equipment and armament and uniforms and will have the training course. After that, they will be sent to military units. The work on improvement of Ukrainian tactical medicine continues. In Odessa National Medical University, there are the first in Ukraine courses on training civil doctors for work in the ATO zone was created. The special courses for 2 weeks now, they are training the first 10 specialists on the basis of Military Medical Clinical Center of the Southern Region for training. They're using the new technologies. In the future, the trained doctors, instructors will teach the servicemen of ATO how to provide medical assistance in military conditions. Ukraine restores Donbass, which is ruined by militants and Russian occupants. Yesterday in Avdiivka, they established the electric supply to the central hospital in Debaltseva. They ensure the electricity supply from 6 mobile electric plants, and also they have 2 field kitchens there in Mariupol. The restoration works continue after the tragedy on the 24th of January. They're restoring the houses for these works. In these works, 280 persons are involved in 29 units of special equipment. The electric, gas, and water supply to Shastya are restored in Popasna. The 3 wounded persons were rescued from the house which was ruined. In Stanично-Lugansky district, the gas supply is completely restored. Ukrainian patriots continue to support the defenders. Yesterday, Volynsk militiamen joined the charity work on getting the donor blood for military who are wounded during the ATO. The citizens of Kryvyi gave to one of the units of ATO forces the truck. The truck has warm clothes, the children's drawings and letters. The Kiev City Clinical Hospital received from Kiev authorities the charity contribution in the amount of 100,000 hryvnias for treatment and rehabilitation of wounded servicemen. For that money, they received the special apparatus for mere stimulation, special mattresses, and rehabilitation beds. Now there are 10 participants of military actions from the east of Ukraine in the hospital. The planned rotation of Ukrainian servicemen continues. 60 servicemen of the Ministry of Interior from Lviv region went to the east. Lviv law enforcers continue the mission of their predecessors. They are protecting the energy security and infrastructure water supply of the city. International community demonstrates support to Ukraine in its fight with the aggressor. The EU Council on Foreign Affairs continues till September 2015 the action of individual sanctions introduced against physical and legal persons of Russian Federation, and a request to expand this blacklist. That is all. Your questions. Please tell what is the situation in Vuhlegirsk? According to Semenchenko, almost all the city is now under the militants, and according to the Ministry of the Interior, it's ours. So now, in fact, the city is not under the control of the militants. There is a battle going on for that city. This account offense, that there is a fight, that our military are fighting with the bandits and they're not planning to leave the city, but you need to understand that the reserves are sent so that this facility, this city is always protected. Do you have any information about the negotiations in Minsk? No information on Minsk. Any other questions to the Colonel? Yesterday, OSCE sent a mission to evacuate the peaceful citizens from the Baltsovo. The volunteers give the information that the army even gave some trucks. What's happening with what is the status of this operation? Basically, we do not have an objective to conduct some operations. We just react to the situation. We give the transportation to ensure security and safety of our citizens, and we take people from dangerous regions when people want to leave these regions. So our main task is the safety and security, but not the title of the operation. One more thing. Is there information on Aidar? We know that near the Ministry of Defense there was the meeting. Please explain. The situation is like that with Aidar battalion. First of all, that unit which recommended itself from the very positively and which has a very big experience will not be this integrated. It has the status of assault battalion. That's one of the main units in the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine. But now we are regrouping and changing the documentation of the battalion. There are certain procedures to change the seal, to change the name, and also we are adding more people to this unit, and we add military equipment to strengthen this battalion. So the battalion is still the battle unit. Why is it happening? And previously there was information that someone was trying to use this situation with the disappearance of the seal or stamp of this unit. So to stop that, the decision was made to re-register documents, and the decision was made to make a new seal or stamp for this unit, so that some extra people do not become the part of that battalion. That is done to clean it up, not to make sure that people who have never been there are not included into the list of the battalion servicemen, because there was no explanatory work conducted, and that's the main reason. In fact, we're strengthening the battalion. That it is one of the military units of the Ministry of Defense. That is all for today. Tomorrow we start at 12:30, and this will be the briefing of Lysenko tomorrow. Again, unfortunately, Markian Lubkivsky